This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Grant Hall joining us on a Wednesday morning on halftime. Good morning, Grant. It's a sad day in Razorback land, and man, it's you never want to talk about untimely death of a hero across the state, but here we are. Ryan Mallett passes away yesterday, and just want to know how you're feeling about this.
You know, Phil, I was on the fifth green at Paradise Valley Athletic Club yesterday, and I was actually having a good round. It was like one under par. You know, my son and I were having a big time, and my wife texted me that this had happened, and I just felt low-bridged. In fact, really, on the next hole, I hit a ball about 10 yards, and my son said, "What happened?" I was thinking about Ryan Mallett. I mean, I got tears in my eyes, really. Just the thought of this guy who was bigger than life, Matt, like a lot of quarterbacks, you know, he was just a guy with a big personality. I remember one time seeing him with someone racing in a golf cart at Springdale Country Club after play was done in the Chickatee for the day, and I don't know why or where or why he was there, but he was just laughing, having a big time, and you know, the arm he had. I can remember one time he overthrew a guy on an out inside the stadium, and the ball hit off the bleachers and made this sound you can still remember. I think he and Joe Ferguson probably threw the ball, and you mentioned Tavares Jackson, Matt, and that's true, but just velocity of the ball, and when you put him together with Bobby Petrino in his play calling, that was a pretty good combination. I think about the Sugar Bowl, that they were really within a scoop and score of winning that game. Man, I remember seeing you and Tony Bua out the night before.
I was there at the game. Yeah, he was. Is gregarious the right word for Ryan Mallett? Like he was definitely larger than life, always smiling and Grant. Every time I hung out with that dude, he was always cool. You know, like just happy and fun to be around. That's 100%. And man, what a game that was. That was a wild game.
Yeah, and he had the big arm. I wanted to mention last week, and I can't remember exactly the chronology, guys, but we've lost another couple of Razorbacks. I guess Bryson Manor, since then, who was a really good football player and played in the NFL. And then there was a basketball player named Ronnie Garner from Hot Springs who played, I believe he played with Clyde Roden and Pat Foster. And they all started as sophomores way back in the day, like maybe 1959 at Arkansas. People who are as old as I am will remember Ronnie Garner, and he was with that alumni group. They continued to meet and trade stories, but had this wonderful hook shot. I used to go try to copy that hook shot on the backyard hoop. So three great Razorbacks have passed away in kind of a short period of time. But you know, Ryan, remember when he was on Hard Knocks? And they showed him that deal where he overslept a meeting and he didn't last long with Houston after that. And I'm not so sure that he might not still be playing quarterback had that not happened. I mean, he had the ability, obviously, but then he made this nice transition, as you all mentioned, into high school coaching. And I think would have been a really good high school football coach. And that, to me, there's almost no higher calling in athletics than that. Some great high school. I mean, when you think about people like Gerald Williams and Barry Lunny Sr., and you could go on with, Tommy Tice, you know. So it's really sad to see that career and that life cut short.
He was a competitor, and I'm with you. That man, it does hurt. And Phil, you know, when a baseball player swings a bat and it sounds different, or the way somebody catches it and the pop's just different. When he threw a ball, Grant's right. When he threw a ball, it just sounded different. He had one of those just generational talent type of arms. And, yeah, him and Joe Ferg. Now, Tavares didn't put up the numbers that Joe Ferg or Ryan did, but to me, those are the three strongest arms, just a quarterback arm. If you could build your quarterback with his arm, that's what you wanted.
You know, when Joe was at Arkansas, freshmen couldn't play back then, but they had a freshman team, and some of us would go over there and watch him practice sometimes. And I remember one day kind of peeking in from the gate. Back then it was all different, but the south part of you could look through that gate, And for about 25 or 30 minutes, I watched him, and he never threw a single ball off target. I mean, just for pure throwing the football. And, of course, Mallett he got away. He got away to Michigan, but came back pretty quickly. And he'll be remembered not only for the passing records, but, as you said, Matt, for the kind of gregarious personality.
Well, he also was part of it, getting Arkansas to places they haven't been since, or really, before.
Sugar Bowl.
Very often. Getting to a
10-win season.
BCS game, couple of 10-win seasons. So, and he took a chance, I guess, by deciding to go to Arkansas, but I also think he knew that maybe he would work for a Bobby Petrino coach team. But that's another thing that you look at. So he's got all this talent. He had great numbers, but he also was a part of helping Arkansas get to 10 kind of quickly, and it feels like, either maybe for some people it feels like a long time ago, but it really wasn't all that long ago that he helped quarterback Arkansas to 17 wins.
Yeah, and I don't know if y'all talked about this yesterday. Did you go over the Hall of Honor list of the new ones to be inducted?
Yeah, we did. We hit on that.
Yeah, I mean, Houston Nutt, obviously, Felix Jones, Mark Brumble was a great baseball player at Arkansas' 79 College World Series team, and Lindsey Howell, who was a real favorite of Nolan Richardson, and I saw Kim Jenkins just recently, just in this last year, great Arkansas Lady Razorback, and I won't go through all of them, but one other, David Swain, has done a tremendous job of helping the Arkansas track program through the years after his career, so that's a great list, and look forward to seeing them in September. Arkansas, I was reading this series that they've done in the Democrat Gazette about the football team by year, by classes. Arkansas's got 29 seniors on this current team coming up, and the basketball team has 7 seniors. They've got the 3 holdovers plus 4 from the portal. So in an era of one-and-done basketball, that's kind of unusual. It'll be kind of interesting to see how that all works out.
Well, and a lot of those seniors on both sides are out of the transfer portal. Otherwise you might have a younger team in both. And who knows how Muss would construct a basketball team if the transfer portal wasn't so dominant right now. But I think those things go along with each other, especially when you're in the SEC. And man, Grant, I mean, there is a thought that in almost all of the sports that we talk about, when you talk about the transfer portal, you're kind of viewing it in a way that, yeah, they're all Division I schools in a lot of cases, but the lower level mid-major programs are kind of a feeder system now for the bigger programs. But that also goes against the other side of that logic, that there are a lot of kids who sign and attend an SEC program or a Power 5 program, can't hack it there. Well, they can use that portal to head somewhere else and not at the city year either. So I do think it works both ways.
Yeah, it feels like free agency in a way almost, in college. I mean, Arkansas's just got 2 freshmen, I think, in the coming class. They also, though, have Brazil, who they might not have coming back had he been healthy all year. I mean, did you see how highly he was rated just in the few games, really, he played last year before the injury? So that's another big asset to Eric Musselman's team coming back this year.
Very true.
Yeah, I think Brazil, if he's healthy and matures and keeps growing, and granted, it's one of those Kristoff Porzingis type players and he doesn't have to worry about getting his shot blocked. I mean, just imagine playing basketball and they say, yeah, well, you kind of have a little bit of a slow shot, but it's like he's never had to worry about it being blocked, and he still does it.
And not only that, but his 3-point shooting was just under, I think, 40% in the games that he played last year. I was interested to see that Walsh had gone down and worked with this guy for a week and put up 250, 350 3-point makes a day, I think it said, and really improved his 3-point shooting. And that may have helped him, get drafted as highly as he did in that second round.
Yeah, Walsh has good form. He's just still a youngster, but he kind of grew up quick, and his length and his I think he does have a high basketball IQ. He just didn't have the ball in his hands a lot. He reminds me of that Caleb Martin kid from that Coach Muss had in Nevada that now plays at Miami, kind of that same type of mold.
Yeah, one other thing, guys, I forgot to bring up last week was I saw C.J. Brown in Hugo's, and he was in there. He committed to Arkansas over Tennessee, Oklahoma State, Minnesota, Vanderbilt, I think, and had called Coach Pittman on a Thursday night. But he caught 75 passes, 15 for touchdown last year as an inside receiver for Bentonville. And I found out that Trey Trumbo, who is a former Fayetteville High School and Arkansas basketball player, and who's coached youth basketball around here for a long time, actually coached him when he was a kid, and they were actually together in there, so that was kind of cool. And he's one of these guys, Matt, that Trey introduced me and immediately stood up, and it reminded me of Phil Mickelson doing that one time. Just his father was there, great manners, great kid, and I think we're going to look forward to seeing him play. He's a 3-star, but I think he could really be good.
Grant, we'll wrap up on some thoughts on college baseball with another championship won by an SEC team. LSU pulls it out, and it would have been an SEC team no matter what, because it was either the Gators or the Tigers. The SEC is the dominant force in college sports, in women's basketball, in football, and in baseball. You can make a case that maybe it's one of the most, and if not, the most talented league in men's basketball. You just haven't had a national title in this league for a long time. The difference here is that in women's basketball, you've got 2 dominant programs, maybe a third on the way. There's South Carolina and LSU, maybe Tennessee. In football, it's Alabama and Georgia. In baseball, take your pick. They talk about there's no parity in college sports. Well, there's a heck of a lot of parity in the SEC. It's just there's no parity between the SEC and everybody else in baseball.
I'd forgotten, Phil, that Florida actually beat LSU in 2017 to win the College World Series. And this is, 4 different SEC schools in 4 years winning it. Arkansas defeated LSU, or finished higher than LSU in the SEC West this year and shared the title with Florida. So LSU didn't even win and they didn't win the tournament either, right? The SEC tournament. So none of that, and then they won the national championship. They probably had more major league prospects on that team than a couple of other schools put together. I mean, they got some can't miss guys. But here's Florida that lost the first game 4-3 and won the second one 24-4. So they were that close to stealing this thing, before I think you could see in that third game who had the better pitching depth and the better hitting depth, really, of the 2 teams.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.